Hello and welcome to a special feature here on AppTV. I'm Noah C. Cornelius, and with me here today, I have one of the most influential and beloved figures in the NASCAR community. He is an 8-time NASCAR Cup Series winner and the winner of the 1987 Coca-Cola 600. Racing also runs in his family. His father, Richard, is a 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. His grandfather, Lee, was a NASCAR pioneer, and his son, Adam, was a bright, rising star in the sport. But when Adam lost his life in a tragic racing accident in 2000, Kyle turned that heartbreak into a beautiful story of honor and remembrance. A TV personality, musician, philanthropist, and speaker, he is currently on a concert tour around the region, promoting his new book, Swerve or Die. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kyle Petty.
Yeah, we should just end this right here because that was amazing, man. Listen, I'm feeling good about myself right now because of that. Thank you very much.
I'm feeling good about myself too. Well, first and foremost, you're in Phoenix right now for the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR Championship Weekend. 7 a.m. over there. How are you holding up?
Listen, I'm good. I've already got it worked out, man. I'm still on East Coast time. Okay, and I get up on the East Coast time. I get up about 5:30 every morning. So I've been up a long time out here in Phoenix. So I'm good for you this morning.
Kyle, talk to us a little bit about your racing career. For anybody who doesn't know who you are, just give us a quick little rundown.
I raced for way too long. I will say that. So my grandpa, you mentioned, my grandfather started racing in 48, 49. My dad came along in 58. I came along in 79. Adam came along in 98. So it seems like every 20 years or so, there was another Petty popping up somewhere. But I started racing in 79, never ran anything but cup races, really. My dad, that's where we started at. I ran there until 08. Won a few races, sat on a few poles. Hit a few walls, hit more walls than I won races and sit on poles. I'll tell you that. But I got to race, and it's amazing. When I look at my life, it really is amazing because I grew up obviously with my grandfather and that era when I was a kid. But then I got to grow up with David Pearson and Bobby Allison and Cale Yarborough and Buddy Baker, all the greats of what our sport. And then I was there when Earnhardt came along and Rusty Wallace and Mark Martin. I was there when Jeff Gordon and Bobby Labonte and the Burton brothers and those guys came along. And listen, I was here when Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson came along. I was still digging out there somewhere. So that's the one thing. I've just been here so long. So, I tell people all the time, I'm from rural North Carolina, where people have dairy farms and tobacco farms and chicken farms. And we just happen to raise race cars on our farm. But we were farmers, man. That's all we were. We just got to ride around in circles.
Well, you talked a little bit about your family when you were talking about your background there. How important it was family to you during your racing career, and how important is family to you now?
Oh yeah, it's everything, man. It's everything. Again, it's your rural roots, and that's it. It's your mom and their family. It's your dad and his family. It's uncles, his cousins, and then ultimately it's you and your wife and your family. You get to that place, and I raced because that's what I grew up doing. Just like, and I tell people that again all the time. There are so many 3rd and 4th generation farms around where I live that it was not uncommon for a son to follow in the footsteps of his father. That's all I ever wanted to do was be a race car driver. That's all my dad ever wanted to do. That's all Adam ever wanted to do was be a race car driver. So I think when you go back and you dissect our lives, it's all connected. We never had a Thanksgiving or a Christmas where we talked about anything but racing. I can tell you that. That's all we talked about. Football wasn't a major thing in our house at Thanksgiving and Christmas. Racing was still the major thing.
Man, what I wouldn't have given to be a fly on the wall for your Thanksgivings. I'm going to throw a little bit of an audible here. You're from North Carolina, and I was going to talk about your concerts later in this discussion, but you've actually been to Boone a couple times, and obviously AppTV is with Appalachian State University. You've come up to Boone a couple times. What is it about Boone that brought you here?
You know what? I think it's the music there. Okay, it's that central location. It's where everybody talks about Asheville and they talk about other places, but I think it's Boone. It's that you draw from all around that area, Galax, Virginia, all around that area. So many the bluegrass feel of what the music is there, and then you bring the college in, and you mix that bluegrass and you mix the college vibe. And you mix all that in the live music and the musicians and the people that come out of there and the creativity that's there and has always been there. I think that's part of it. I got to play the Jones House. I played Antlers and Acorns. I played that the writers, the songwriters festival that they had there, and the crowds and the people that came out were just, they wanted to hear music. They wanted to hear live music, and they wanted to take it and dissect it and break it down, and what it was. It wasn't just about enjoying it. So that's been special for me. I had one of my dad's cousins, first cousins, that used to babysit us when we were little. She went to App State. And when she came back, I'll never forget, man, I was 7, 8, 9 years old. It's been that long ago. She came back with that big A on her sweatshirt. I was like, man, I want one of those sweatshirts, dude. You know what I mean? Because I was 9 or 10 years old. So Appalachian State has been a part. My mom, all of my mom's racing stuff, her racing letters, her memorabilia was donated to App State. It is in their archives there. So it's a special place for our family, for sure.
Well, honestly, at this point, you might as well just be an honorary Mountaineer.
Listen, man, I work with enough of them. Doug Rice, my man, Doug Rice, who does PRN, he is the Mountaineer, man. He is the Mountaineer. He lives, breathes, bleeds. I've been with him on Saturdays calling Xfinity races, and he's calling the race, and he's watching the football game or trying to figure out what the score of the football game or whatever they're doing on his phone at the same time. And you can, if you don't know him, he sounds flawless. But if you know him, you can tell he gets flustered when something happens and they don't score or something goes wrong. It's fun, but he is the guy.
Now, shifting gears here, Kyle, philanthropy has been a big part of your family.
Yeah.
And especially with Victory Junction and the creation of it after Adam's unfortunate accident in 2000. What gave you the strength to live out his dream of helping children in need?
So we have to go back in my life. And when I was 14, my uncle, I had an uncle, my mother's brother, Randy, he was 5 years older than me, and he was more like my brother. He was killed in an accident on Pit Road at Talladega. He was part of my dad's pit crew. And my grandmother Owens, his mother, she always looked at Randy as being a blessing. She never was mad. She never was upset. She was hurt that she lost a son, and she was crushed, just like I was when we lost Adam. But she didn't look at that as a defining moment where you just stop your life. And she continued to do things for other people and continued to give back. So when we had started the Kyle Petty Charity Ride in 1995, and then when Adam's accident happened in 2000, then that was just, I followed my grandmother's lead. To be honest with you, we're back to family again. And I followed my grandmother's lead to look at Adam as a blessing, to look at the platform we had in racing as an opportunity. We could reach so many people all over the United States and possibly worldwide, to tell them about Adam and to do good in his name. So I had driven some sports car races with Paul Newman, and he had Newman's Own and the Hole in the Wall gang camp and all of that. And talked to him a little bit, and I said, let's build a camp. And he said, let's do it. So we started the camp, and then Tony Stewart and Kevin Harvick and Ryan Newman and Michael Waltrip and Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson and Dale Jr. I mean, I can go on and on down the list of guys who said, yeah, we'll help you. And we built the camp, and we have touched the lives of over 100,000 kids since 2004, since the camp's inception. And it has been phenomenal. It has been phenomenal. Kyle Petty Charity Ride has raised over $20 million in the 26 years that we've had that ride. All that money goes to camp now, to send kids to camp. It's totally free of charge to all kids that come. So I think when you've had an opportunity and been blessed, like I've been blessed in so many ways, it's an obligation. You give back to people. You pay it forward. You pay it to someone else. And that's the way I look at it. And listen, I say this all the time. I love these kids. And if you think I do anything at all, you're sadly mistaken. When you go talk to these kids, they do it all, man. They are amazing kids. I get so much more from them than they ever take away from myself or my family. They are the heroes for sure.
Kyle, you have such a big heart. I think I can't say that enough, for you to go out of your way. Well, not out of your way, but for you to do everything you've done for these children in need, everything your family's done, everything that the NASCAR community has done. How does it feel knowing that you've changed the lives of over 100,000 kids?
So that is the amazing part. And I will say this, it is, you would think and in the world we live in, from instant gratification and everything has to happen right now. you would think you would just stand back and just pat yourself on the back. Man, look at everything I did. I did so good. But that's not it. I think I look at it totally different. I look at it where I lost a son. I lost Adam. And I walked in that garage area at a racetrack that you've been to before. And I raised my hand and I said, we're going to start a camp. Will anybody help me? And all these people came and helped me do something that helps somebody else. So I'm just the connector. I'm the connector between the people that really wanted to help and the people they could help. So it's not about Kyle. It's not about me. It's not about my family. It's about connecting these people with these kids. And I think from that standpoint, I look at it some days and I think, man, that is so cool that I was put in this position, that I could be this person. But again, man, you go to the camp and you talk to these kids and it's like, man, it is so cool that I know you, that I know this kid, that I know this kid named Austin or Justin or Kathy or whatever their name is. That's the cool part for me.
Just an incredible story all around, Kyle. Now, I want to get to our final questions here as well. You talk about being selfless and it not being about you. How does that apply to your music career and now the book that you have out?
So it's kind of the same, honestly. My wife, I have to give all the credit to my wife, Morgan, with the music stuff. I think she got tired of hearing the same songs over and over coming from the attic, because that's where I was banished to the attic to write songs. But I wrote for myself, because I will say this: when Adam's accident, I always played guitar since I was 12 years old. Played in the high school band. I was a band geek, man. I love band. I played football on Friday nights and sometimes marched at halftime. We were a small school, so it was therapeutic, to have that guitar and hold that guitar in your arms and be able to sit down and write about Adam or write about the sadness and write about things. That was an outlet for me. So I just continue and I have done it forever. I wrote songs about Morgan. I wrote songs about our kids. I just write songs all the time. So she was like, well, you need to get out and play sometime. So I started playing some open mic nights and then had an opportunity to play. So still, I will say this: even when I'm on stage and I'm playing, I play these songs, and you either like them or you don't like them, and that's okay, because that's the only place you're going to hear them. You're not going to hear them on the radio. You're not going to hear them anywhere else. But it has been fun to share them. It has been fun to share them and see the reactions. And I do that thing where I don't tell anybody why I wrote it, and then when it's over with, it's like, where'd that song come from? I know a guy that, and it's like to hear how it affected somebody. And the book was kind of the same way. The book was, I've grew up in the sport, been around it so long. People always said, man, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. You need to tell your stories. And I always look at all my stories as funny stories. They're not all in the book, but as funny stories. But when the pandemic struck and you couldn't travel and you couldn't go anywhere, it just became a real creative time when I could sit down and write and work on things. And I sent it off to a friend of mine, Ellis Hennigan, and Ellis kind of put it together and said, man, don't go down this road. Let's bring it back over here. So he kind of rewrote some of it, redid some of it, and put it in the right place. And without him, it wouldn't have been possible. But, it's just, they don't mean anything. They mean something to me, but I threw it all out there. And if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, again, you don't.
So it seems that music is very personal to you, because you talked about only in concert, only person, you're not going to hear it on the radio. So I can tell that music is a very personal process for you.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. Because, and I tell people this, there's a little bit of me in every song, and every song I write, even if it's about something and you think, man, how does Kyle Petty connect to that? I'm connected to it some way. I'm not good at writing 100% fiction. I can write 99% fiction, but there's 1% of it that's me in there somewhere. But it has been, and I enjoy playing, and I enjoy playing the guitar. I enjoy that outlet. I enjoy that creativity. I love people that are artistic, whether it's with the written word, whether it's with a musical instrument, whether it's with a paintbrush, whether it's visual dance, whatever it may be, man. I just love artists and being in that creative environment. And this allows me to go into that environment sometimes and touch people who I am just amazed by and fascinated by, and able to hopefully suck some of their energy out of me and give me from them, I guess, and give me some of their energy so I can continue to do this.
Now, speaking of music and concerts and all that. You have a couple more concerts coming up, as well as book signings. So just what's going on with all that? How can people come out?
Yeah, I'll be at Sparta in Sparta, North Carolina, at Muddy Creek. And guys, that December, it's 1st of December. I don't know the dates exactly. Man, I'm just trying to get through the NASCAR season at this point in time. I got to be honest with you. So I'll be in Sparta and I'll be signing books, and that's part of what I'm doing right now is if I go places, I try to sell a few books, sign a few books, play a few songs, talk some racing. Hey man, I always do Q&As anytime I do concerts and stuff. People will scream out from the audience, "What do you think about Dale Jr.? What do you think about this?" And so you answer their questions and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. It's a very intimate. Most things I do are more intimate than going to see a real concert. This is more like some guy coming to your house and sitting in your backyard playing and selling books. So I'll be at Muddy Creek in Sparta. I'll be in Lexington at the God, man, it eludes me right now. I don't know why I can't think of it, but I'll be in Lexington, North Carolina, playing there, and you can go to my website, which is kylepetty.com. But I'll be in Lexington doing the same thing, back-to-back nights. So I'm really excited about it because it's hopefully I'll sell more books than I sing songs, because it's Christmas time and people need to buy some books for Christmas. So that's my push right now, is selling books.
Hey, there you go. It is Christmas time. Obviously, hey, maybe if you're listening to this or watching this, maybe consider picking up one of his books. That's Swerve or Die by Kyle Petty. And speaking of you, Kyle, it's been so great to have you on AppTV today. I know you have a busy day ahead of you with the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Championship tonight and the entire rest of the NASCAR Championship Series weekend. But it has been an honor having you on, sir.
Listen, this has been a lot of fun, man. Hey, you need to have me back like once a month, man. I'll come back anytime you want me. I'll come back. It's great, John. I really, really enjoyed this. Enjoyed the talk, and keep App State moving forward, man. I have to tell you this one story real quick before I go off air. So App State, I don't know if you know this or not, but App State beat Michigan one time.
Yeah.
And oh yeah. So when we were in Michigan, right after that for the race, I took my dear friend Rutledge Wood, and we took him over to the campus there in Ann Arbor, and we made him put on an App State uniform, full shoulder pads, pants, helmet, everything, and we dumped him out of the car and wouldn't let him back in. And we let him walk around the camp. Oh, I thought he was going to get his rear end kicked like 780 times, man. I mean, people were throwing things at him, and we just ride along behind him. And that was we kind of punked him a little bit, because Rutledge doesn't know anything about football. So he thought he was trick or treating. I don't know what he thought he was doing, but it was a fun time.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, that was Kyle Petty. Check out his book, Swerve or Die, and go to his upcoming concert appearances. December 2nd in Lexington, I believe at High Rock Outfitters, and December 3rd in Sparta, North Carolina. Muddy Creek.
Muddy
Creek. You heard the man. Go out and visit him. As for us, this has been a special feature here on AppTV. I'm Noah C. Cornelius, and I will catch y'all on the flip side.